4 Christmases.
Or something. The weirdest part about this film, the first thing you've got to know going in is it's a Christmas movie, except that it doesn't feel like Christmas at all. It just happens to take place at Christmas. And that's the real big disappointment of this film.
Well, excuse me if I'm wrong, because I didn't see it, but it's all about visiting their 4 families at Christmas?
Sure. But you know how a Christmas movie will play upon the themes of Christmas and send you out feeling good about the holiday, or will at least deal with the various tensions that come up with that specific holiday?
Right.
This could have just as easily been called 4 Thanksgivings.
Okay.
It could have been, and they, instead of going and opening presents at each place, sit down and have a dinner at each place where the same thing goes wrong.
Yeah.
Because really, it's just an excuse to get these 2 people who have never met each other's families to go from house to house to house. Now, here's what the film's about. The film is about these 2 people who've been together for 3 years, but have decided not to talk about their families because they both come from divorced families that are just really dysfunctional.
Yeah.
And so one Christmas, they get caught sneaking off to Tahiti on the news. And for some reason, all their families are watching the news at the same moment and call up and realize that they're not going to where they said they were going and are going on vacation, and guilt them into coming and visiting the families. And so in one day, they have to go to all 4 houses where they have to deal with 4 completely different nightmares.
Hey, kids.
Okay, this is Daryl.
Hi, nice to meet you.
It is so nice to meet you, young lady. And always great to see you, big guy. Hey, how was traffic getting out here, huh? You know what? Can I get your gas money? I'd really like to get your gas money.
Actually, I don't need you to get my gas money. Thank you. I actually make a lot more than you do. So, no thank
Bradford, be nice.
It's okay, sweetie. Look, Brad, I'm not trying to be your father. You already got one of those. I'm just hoping for a chance to be your friend.
You were my friend, Daryl. You were my best friend. We grew up together. We rode bikes together. We used to smell each other's hands. But now you're sleeping with my mom, and it's a little bit weird for me. Can you appreciate that?
I'm thirsty. Is anybody else thirsty? Okay, what can I get you to drink?
Sounds hilarious. Now, hasn't Vince Vaughn made 4 suck-ass Christmas movies already?
No, he's only made 2.
Hey, man, you know what? You can say 4 suck-ass Christmas movies, but I liked Fred Claus when I saw it.
I think you and Vince Vaughn are the only ones who like that movie.
And it was one of those where I liked it, but I understand if other people don't. But I just recently had to watch it on DVD, and I think I love that movie now.
You know what? I'm glad to hear that. I got sent that DVD and I have to review it. I've got to actually watch it tonight. And
it's a fun little Christmas movie.
Well, I'll check it out. But so he's made 2 Christmas movies. The reason why we think there's many is because there's a Christmas movie that comes out every year and they're almost never good. But this is just I mean, there's some jokes in here that really work. There's a few very funny moments, but overall, most of the jokes just don't work all that much. And there's not really much to be done with. Everyone's very 2-dimensional. All the houses are cliches. Right. The first house is a very redneck Christmas. The second house is a very born again Christian Christmas. The third house is the very hippie Christmas. And you're just like, wow, are there any cliches left? No, there isn't, because the fourth house is the reconciliation house where all the stuff works out. This movie would drive Korey up the wall.
Why is that?
Because there's the real underlying thread of this film is that these 2 people don't really know each other. You know, that they're just now discovering some of these secrets of their childhood that they were, they've kind of pushed aside.
Okay, this is what baffled me, what you just brought up. Because every time I watch the trailer, which explained all the other stuff, where they're like surprises, like, oh, your family does this? I'm like, oh, shit, I'm sorry.
God damn it. What?
Go ahead and pause it.
Yeah. No, go ahead. You got it.
Yeah. No, just that, like, the way they're like, wow, your family does this? I'm like, wait a minute. How is it that y'all have avoided going to each other's houses for all these years and you don't notice about each other?
Because they've set that up, that literally their whole relationship, every Christmas they come up with a big plan together and they enact this plan on their families and go off on vacation.
No, I got that, but it sounds like they don't actually really know each other.
Well, they don't know little tiny things about each other. There are certain things that it's just that you just don't talk about. And those things happen to be like, yeah, I don't talk about my brothers. Why? Because they're semi-retarded guys who, those the big thing with the wrestler brothers.
Yeah.
That they're
Jon Favreau and
Tim McGraw are the
Tim McGraw,
Tim McGraw's the other
Tim
brother?
McGraw
Country
is the
guy?
other brother. Now they're UFC trained fighters, right? You'd think you'd mention that, except no, these are the UFC trained fighters that go and do things in people's backyards, that do like the jumping off of the house onto the table.
Oh, so they're backyard wrestlers.
Yeah.
They're backyard wrestlers.
Okay, so a backyard wrestler is like a jackass wannabe, basically.
Exactly. And
Yeah,
so,
they don't even get paid.
no, that's the point. Is they're these incredibly poor, and he doesn't even want to talk about them because he's embarrassed that this is his family. And as you get to know the families, you realize why these people don't talk about them, because they're not good families. So exactly the type of families that you're like, yeah, those are my folks. There's a reason why I don't visit them. I moved halfway across the country for this very reason. You know, that kind of thing. But no, what would piss Korey off is the fact that as they get to know each other, Reese Witherspoon starts to realize that maybe she should think about getting married and having a kid.
Oh!
Well, I predicted that. Like, every woman out there, after she's had a baby shit and vomit on her, she all of a sudden changes her mind. I swear, if you gave a woman a glass of baby vomit, she just want a baby right there.
Apparently, there's some kind of a baby-making pheromone in baby vomit. But yeah, it's that whole thing. And through the whole movie, they're all talking about how we love how we have this great lifestyle where we don't need to be tied down, where we don't have kids, where we are just about each other and having a great relationship. And God, we love each other. And they're clearly very open. They talk with one another. Their families are just an off-limits thing. But as they spend time with their families, she realizes that it's time to get married and knocked up. And Vince Vaughn is like, whoa, that wasn't part of the deal. And then they have the big breakup that requires the reconciliation. Of course, what really will drive you guys up the wall is the fact that it's literally one of those reconciliations where he's just like, shit, you know what? Maybe I should go back to her because she is pretty awesome. And there's literally, it's just like, hey, we'll work this out. And it's literally one of those things where it's like, this third act is just obnoxious. So as a film, it's just kind of irritating at times. But it's not a bad movie. I mean, it's directed by the guy who directed King of Kong.
Yeah, I saw that.
This is his first, feature, fiction feature film.
Sure.
And then it's got a great cast. I mean, Reese Witherspoon's incredibly talented. Vince Vaughn can be very funny. You've got great people like Jon Favreau. Jon Favreau keeps showing up, and he's hilarious in the film.
Is he? Because he looks so obnoxious from the trailers. Like, not in an obnoxious, like not in a good Vince Vaughn way, but like in that, like, this again?
Except
is he going to fart in every scene?
No, he doesn't do that at all.
Okay.
No, he's legitimately that asshole brother that's just really funny. There's this one great scene that he's just sitting there eating chicken, staring at his brother just hatefully, and his brother's like, dude, you're really serious? It's kind of creepy, not in that way, but in like a gay sort of. And it's just really funny to watch, Jon Favreau play that character. But there's minutes and minutes of just unfunny, ridiculous comedy. The type of comedy that really frustrates you because it's the characters get themselves into a situation that someone with half a brain would never do, and these characters haven't intimated that they would get themselves into.
Sure.
So it's just frustrating at times.
Okay.
All right, so what would you give it?
I would give it 1 Christmas out of 4. This is very much a rental. There's no reason to see it. But if you get, it's not awful. So if you get dragged to it by the family looking for a Christmas movie, it's not going to hurt, but you will sit there noticing the things that I notice and laughing occasionally, going, "Hey, that's kind of funny." And then, wow, they're not really doing anything. And the cast is so huge and so talented that there are actors here that you don't understand why they're even in the film.
I can tell you why. Because Christmas movies pay back big residuals because they get played a lot. And
Sure.
it's always a cha-ching every time it gets played.
But I'm just saying, like, they cast Dwight Yoakam, and Dwight Yoakam gets, like, 3 lines. He's in a bunch of scenes just kind of sitting there being Dwight Yoakam, but he only has 3 lines. And that's the type of actor you don't get a Dwight Yoakam. You get some good, hardworking, undiscovered guy or some guy who's doing commercials to do that role who nails that part, instead of you just sitting there going, "Hey, it's Dwight Yoakam." When is Dwight Yoakam going to do something? Why is he just kind of standing there?
Okay, so in other words, I won't be seeing this shit anytime soon.
No. You guys, there's no reason to see this. If you ever see it as a rental when they release it next year around Christmas.
I won't
time,
even
and
do
we've
that.
forgotten about
It would be on TV, and I would just walk in the room and accidentally see it, and probably change the channel after a little while too.
Yeah.
So anyway, thanks for taking a hit on that.
Yeah.